So welcome back to the podcast, and you're listening to the Traveling Pants of a Single Mom. And today I have Iaellan and her wife Chantelle.
Hello.
Say hey, y'all. That's how I get. I need some more vibrancy. Yeah. Like we was over here, we was getting it. We like, okay.
Yes.
People just gotta know how goofy I am.
Right, we need to know. We chilling over there though. Like, remember, this time we lit, okay?
We all the way lit.
So I'm gonna start off, even though we had our episode, you guys might remember Iaellan from the massage therapy and music episode that I had, episode 44. Can't forget that. And but today she brought her wife. So we're going to go ahead and reintroduce Iaellan. And Iaellan, after you reintroduce yourself, then we want Chantelle just to tell a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you from.
Okay. All right. My name is Iaellan. I'm a massage therapist and a trainer. I like to consider myself as an exercise specialist.
Hold on. Time's up. You're going to have to talk up because last time you was last time. So yeah, you have to give me a little bit.
All right. My name is Iaellan. I'm a massage therapist and an exercise specialist. So I pride myself on helping people get better from injuries or traumatic experiences.
Nice.
And I'm Chantelle. I was born and raised here in Florida. For the last almost 11 years, I've been at Massage Envy as the manager. Oh, and I oversee the Sanford location and the Port Orange location.
Y'all hiring? Y'all know anybody? Let me know. You are? Okay, we'll talk about that after the show. For real. So, of course, this episode is really going to be about them, their relationship, and how they met. So, I want to know, how did you guys meet?
You want my perspective or hers?
I want both of y'all perspectives because it's two different perspectives here now, obviously. So what's your perspective?
All right, I'll start and you can cut in it.
Okay.
I'm sure she's gonna cut in. Right. It's about right. I'm sure you're gonna have a different take. But go ahead, Iaellan.
Well, I went to massage school. When I graduated massage school, I started the sports medicine program. Okay, but before I started that program, we had a tour before I graduated to like different massage locations, and we were the first class to go through this particular tour that she held. And out of everybody in my class, I'm the one who asks all the questions. Because I'm just like, I want to know what you pay, I want to know everything. Because I'm like, I'm not working at Massage Envy, like, they don't pay. And I was just talking mad shit.
Right.
So, we go in there. She's taking us through, she's talking to us and asking her questions. And one of my friends, her name's Amber. Shout out to Amber.
Hey Amber, hey.
Miss Bliss.
Yeah.
We leave and she's like, hey, did you see how that girl was looking at you? And I'm like, no. She's like, I'm telling you, she was on you.
She wants you.
No, she wasn't. Like, I was just the only one asking questions. She's like, nah, I'm telling you, right? So I had applied there like a few times, but I never got a call. Apparently, she went home and was raving about me, and she didn't even know my name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, I knew she was a girl, like just like in awe or whatever. She said I looked very exotic, right?
Yeah. And I literally kept saying, like, I can't remember what her name is, but it's something like Islandy. And yeah, it was just like a completely different feeling for me, meeting her. And I don't know, it was just something about it's like that cheesy, not love at first sight, but I really felt connected when I passed by her, because she opened up the door for me and I passed by her and I just like, we locked eyes and I just like felt something. So I went home and told literally my entire family about this girl that I met.
Oh my God.
And I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and I even told her about Iaellan, and I was like, I can't ever hire her because
well,
I can't do it.
Let me tell you my story. Because when I met Iaellan for the first time, I was like, who is? Like, wait, hold up. Like,
what is
Because at first they caught me off guard. Like when she walked up like, hey, I'm looking like, so then after my boyfriend, he the one that booked the massage. When I got off, I was like, yo, the girl that did my massage, son, I'm sorry to tell you.
Yo, that is
but she could get it. And I ain't even about that life.
That's what we always say.
I'm like, no.
She can get it.
I'm not about that life.
Yo, but the crazy thing is like, I don't look at myself like that. Like, people think that I come off like super conceited or cocky.
Nah, you ain't come off conceited or cocky.
But I don't feel like that.
Nah, they got it wrong. I was like, I wanted to say that in the last episode, but I didn't know how your wife was. Now she's cool, she won't get offended. No. So I didn't say it. But I wanted to tell you, like, when you walked up, I was like, yo, who that? We have James in the background. James said the same thing.
Listen, it's so funny though, because we've been out before, and you know, we've been at the Parliament House, and she looks like a guy. So we've had like gay men be like whispering, like, oh, does she know her dude is gay? I'm here to the and I'm like, I just turn around, I'm like, she does make a fighting man. Mighty fine man, doesn't she? And they're just like,
yo, no,
like, oh, you are so cute. You are so cute.
But see, let me tell you something else. Even when we had the episode, I literally was like, I would say 90% of the episode, I'm like, yo, is she a guy? Or a girl? Because her swag is so masculine. But it's something about her, like, I don't know, I'm confused. And I was like that when you did the massage, I was confused, like.
It's her eyes. They're like so pretty, like you can tell she's a girl because of her eyes. But yeah, everything else about her, just her whole energy is very masculine.
I don't know, her whole energy.
And one of my clients called me the other day, and then she got off the phone me and she texted me and she's like, I hope I didn't offend you, but I told my friend you were a girl. And then she's like, by the way, your voice sounds great. And I'm just like, I'm not transitioning. This is my normal voice.
Okay, see, you done got to one of the questions already, because I was going to ask, like, is this natural?
Yeah, I don't take any hormones or anything.
Well, how you got like the peach fuzz? How you?
Somebody say you have that effect on people.
Her brother-in-law, he would be edging up her little mustache.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, that was one of my questions, like, do you take any, like, hormones, or you just natural?
Just the way I am.
Dang. Because
I always say my goatee gonna come in one day. It's lit.
You sure?
I'm dead serious.
Right, yo. But I just had to, like I said, I wanted to on that episode, but I was like, I don't want her wife to feel like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know if she's cool like that, but yo, that first experience, I was like, yo.
Nah, I'm pretty open about it. Like, I've experienced so much, good and bad, when it comes to like just me being myself, that there's not many things that people can say that offend me.
Okay.
You know, like I told you I had this client, and he comes in as a black dude. And he comes in with his girlfriend, and they're getting a couples massage, and the guy that was massaging his girlfriend was a gay dude.
Oh.
Right? And then it's me.
Right.
So we're walking back to the room, and he's like, "You're not doing my massage, are you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I was supposed to be with a female." I'm like, "Yeah,
I am."
Last time I checked, that's what I was.
Really?
Right? He was like, "Oh, all right."
Nah.
So listen. So he's like talking to me. I'm asking him questions, and he's like, "You from New York?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can I get a female?" And my boy is just like pissed, and I was just like, "Yeah, hold on." Like, I don't want to touch you anyway, my man. Like,
right.
My feelings.
No, but you got that swag down. It's like, yo, I'm confused. I'm telling you, the whole episode, I was in a daydream in my head, like, what happened?
Oh, I wanted to ask a question.
Okay, we have a question. Go ahead.
Do any of y'all do modeling or have ever did modeling?
Modeling?
Yeah.
I like to. I've considered it. Yeah.
She's my model.
Aww.
No, honestly, like
Y'all should take pictures together. Have y'all taken
She doesn't
professional
like
pictures?
taking
I honestly
You
like
are
this
freaking
right now is a
beautiful.
stretch to me. To
Really?
be honest
She
with you,
hates,
yeah.
she hates being in front of the
You are freaking beautiful.
you.
Everybody got the picture that my little promo video. They was like, yo, her wife is freaking gorgeous. I'm like, I know.
And your
See
dress
her
is
eyes?
everything too. I'm sorry.
We're gonna talk about the wedding.
We didn't finish the story though.
Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead,
So I had applied there a couple of times. No response. Right? And my name is spelled all crazy. So
Right.
Amber started working there. And my brother had, like, this was like 2 years later, my brother had gotten shot. Right? So I had just lost my job, I needed a job. I was like, alright, let me know when the manager's there, I'm gonna bring my resume in.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm not even thinking like.
Because wait, when you were in the class as a student?
No, she was the manager. She was doing the tour at Massage
Yeah,
Envy.
so I
okay.
opened that Port Orange store and I became close with her teacher from Kaiser. And she's like, hey, do you think that you would let my students tour your location and like ask you questions? And stuff? I'm like, yeah, just let me know when and I'll block the time off so that
They can come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was in that tour and that was right when we first opened. And I ended up hiring like maybe 4 or 5 of the students from that class that came through that day, And yeah, she just happened to be one of them that I never called when I got the resume for, I don't know why, for some reason.
I was about to say, did you recognize the name?
She did it, but she
No, I
didn't see my
didn't.
name on paper.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't really know my name, so it was like she wasn't really like.
Yeah, so Amber ended up coming to me and saying, hey, like my girlfriend is gonna come and give you her resume. And I'm just like, I'm thinking a girl in my head,
Right.
not that she's not a girl, I knew she was a girl, but I'm thinking like a girly girl.
Right.
And she's like, she's amazing, like that's the only person I get massages from. I'm like, okay, yeah, tell her to come.
Come in, right. When she came in, what
And
happened?
this girl,
She was like, she looked at me, she was like,
yo.
she's like, yeah, you want to come in on this day?
I set up her interview and she left and I called Amber in the office and I was like,
Amber was like, what I'm doing?
she sits down and I was like, what the fuck was that? And she's like, what? And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, I can't hire her. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I'm too attractive. And she was like, oh, you date girls? And I was like, yeah. Like I was with my ex-girlfriend for 3 years. So she's like, I didn't know that. She's like, she is fine. Yeah. Yeah, she is.
So that's how y'all
Yo,
met.
she tried to pass her massage off to somebody else.
Yeah, I did. I was not trying to get a massage.
Oh, so when you do the interview, you
I
have
got
a
a
massage.
massage.
Oh, really?
I was trying to give it away, and I actually told her afterwards because even in her interview, she thinks that this part is funny, but she came in for her interview, and she immediately like sat down in my chair in my office. And I'm like,
that was cocky.
I was like, I don't think she knew what.
It was your chair.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's sitting in her chair, and I'm like, I don't normally let people do this, but I'm gonna let you sit in my chair.
Right.
So I sat on the stool, but it was just like a conversation. It, like, you know, I got the answers to my questions, but it was just like a very
Chill.
conversation.
Were you attracted to her?
Oh, I mean, yeah, at that point, when I saw her, I was like, yeah, she's official.
What about, because you know she remembers that first eye contact when she opened the
Well,
door.
see, I was in a relationship.
Oh.
So I was engaged.
She was in a relationship too, but you was
I was super. It was immediate. Like the attraction was immediate. Like I even said, I literally left the interview, and I was driving to my other job, and I called Amber.
Oh.
Right?
Amber, she always says, she's like, I'm the reason why you guys are together.
So I called Amber, and she's like, I was like, yo, why you didn't tell me the manager was so bad? And she was like, Iaellan, you better not. I was like, I'm just asking you. Like,
my best friend that, shout out to Mandy if she's watching, I had known her for years, like since I was like 14, 15 years old. and she became a massage therapist. She was working there, and she pulled me in my office at one point. I wasn't trying to be any kind of way, like not trying to flirt with her or anything like that, but I literally could not wipe the smile off my face whenever I was around her. So she was like, I know you. You can't wipe the smile off your face. Like, you better be careful.
Right.
And yeah, it was pretty much over from
so
that
you
point.
guys, so you started working there, so you hired her. Wait, who did the massage? Who you did the massage on?
Her.
Oh, so you did it.
And I told her, I was like, you better be glad that you're cute and I liked you. Which, this is not normal. This is not my normal practice. Like, this is completely out of the norm for me. I like I said, I've worked there for 11 years and I've never done anything like this before. It was definitely, I always told people, like, if I didn't feel like it was something more than just like this, you know,
connection, this instant connection.
I wouldn't have done it. Like, I wouldn't have put my job on the line for that, you know. But I knew that.
But she did it. Like, she would literally try to not come in.
Yeah, I specifically would come in when I knew she wasn't going to be there. She even told me, she's like, I never see you anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, like my schedule changed.
So she was trying to stay away. You was like, yo, let me stay away. Stay away. That's crazy. So let me get into the next one. I have a plethora of questions. I don't even know if we're going to get to all of them. But what are some of the biggest, do you guys face any struggles, like society struggles with being a lesbian couple?
And biracial. Like, it's
oh, that too.
both of it. Like, we walk into a building and all eyes are on us.
Really?
All the time.
But they could be on y'all because y'all are freaking amazing couple. Like, yes, y'all are a beautiful ass couple.
Thank you.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly just staring and stuff like that. I think a lot of people too, you know, there's certain people that hate on that kind of stuff because they wish they had it. Right. And I feel bad because I've been in some shitty relationships. And I'm just glad that I finally found somebody, and I'm older too. I'm not that old, but I'm in my 30s, and I just am glad that I found a person that really lets me be me and helps me be a better me. You know, and I went through hell in those other relationships.
It's hard. Dating is hard, regardless of if it's same sex or you're, you know, whatever. It's really hard, and you go. It like being. I have a lot of friends that's in their early mid 30s that's single, and it's like, yo, am I ever gonna meet anyone that's just gonna love me through that I don't have to go through the BS with? So when you find that, it is a beautiful thing. And sometimes it doesn't matter how you find it or who you find it with. It's just finding that love. It's just real, like. It's really real, you know. And the one thing I can say why I chose you guys is because I didn't even meet you, but I felt by how Iaellan talk about you, I felt the love, you know, like, yo, that y'all was true. Like, I even picked the song that I picked because I didn't even know y'all like that, but I felt that vibe that through Iaellan that y'all relationship is like genuine. It's like from the heart. So anyway, let's see. So how do your families take the fact that you preferred like a same-sex relationship / marriage? So when you guys came out with, okay, this is my lifestyle now, how did your families take that?
I mean, I guess I'll start. I grew up really religious. I was actually one of Jehovah's Witnesses growing up.
Wow.
This lifestyle was absolutely not what I was raised to be. But when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I actually like started having feelings like that because I was in that religion. Like I just felt really guilty about that kind of stuff. And even when I had tried to come out to a couple of my friends back then, they were like, oh, it's just a phase you're going through. Like all girls go through it. Like, they want to kiss other girls and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think this is a phase, but okay. So I didn't date my first girlfriend until I was like 22 or 23. And it's funny because both of our coming out stories are a little bit similar, even though hers was before mine was, because I didn't really come out to my mom. My father had passed away by this point, and I was just hanging out with this girl all the time. I would bring her everywhere, and she was like, so she's not just your friend, is she?
Right. I think she's on.
Yeah, and I was like, no. And it was just like a phone conversation. Like, she called me and she was like, I'm gonna talk to you about something. I immediately knew.
Right, what it was.
I was like, okay, we can't skirt around this issue for much longer. But honestly, she was really like accepting of it, and she made me feel like it's okay, you know, like I've looked at things before, like I'm attracted to other women, you know. She's never been with one, she's never, you know, done that, but she was like, you know, I can completely understand where you're coming from. But my sister's always super cool. Both my sisters, Andrea and Ariel, they knew right away with my last one. They were like, oh, you got a girl crush? Like, oh, like, you know, my brother's kind of weird with it. Like, he's kind of wishy-washy with it. My younger brother, he's still wishy-washy? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like, he didn't come to our wedding or anything. But my little brother, he's 11. He loves it. He refuses to believe that Iaellan is a girl.
Iaellan is a boy.
He's getting to the age now where he knows. So he asked my mom that question. He was like, how is Sissy gonna marry another girl?
Right.
And my mom was like, well, do you love Iaellan? And he's like, oh yeah. And he's like, do you love Sissy? And he's like, oh yeah.
Right.
And she's like, well, they love each other. And that's really all that matters. Like, they have a good relationship. So I think my mom was a little bit freaked out when it was like real. Like, she proposed, like, I'm gonna marry a woman, you know?
Right, that's when it was like, okay.
Yeah.
This
like,
is not this is real.
Yeah. So she was a little bit weirded out then, but honestly, my mom always says, she's like, I love coming to you guys' house because it's just good energy when I come here. Like, there's not any fighting, like, we're just like cooking in the kitchen, listening to music, you know, it's just never any drama. Yeah. So, and she
don't get me wrong,
so.
we have our disagreements, like every couple does, but it's we compared to like the shit that I've been through in the past, it's not like we're very good at communicating. We could always be better, but I think we communicate well.
That was one of my questions. Like, when your emotions get high, how do you get through those moments when your emotions are in control of like the conversation and you're both going at each other? Like,
well,
how do you?
It's difficult. Like, with me personally, I come from such a big family and such a shitty background that I tend to attack everything with aggression and anger. And
sound like me.
Instead of like, it's hard for me to express sadness or hurt, you know? Like, it's just
vulnerability.
To me, it's very easy for me to be like, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just because I've been through so much shit that it's easy for me to wash my hands with people, regardless of, you know? So, for me, I have to calm down. Like, I have to walk away. You gotta let me walk away and calm down so I can gather my thoughts, and then I'll come back. And
so I'm sure you're pretty good at letting her, because you see, that's my problem.
No.
You don't let her walk away?
Honestly.
Because I'm going to say.
Because she's the talker. She's like, we're going to talk about
this. Right. That's me too.
We're going to talk about this shit.
I have to make sure I'm not the issue. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I'm like the complete opposite. Like, I'm a very emotional person. But I think understanding what she just said, like, I know when she's really like hurting, that the emotion that's coming out isn't like what's really inside, you know, because she was conditioned to be like, no crying, it's weak, you know, right. You don't do that, that's weakness. And so instead she's had to channel that emotion that we're meant to have into something else. I think understanding that and like pushing her a little bit to be vulnerable and like, it's okay to cry. You have to get that. That's an outlet, you know? So
I understand where Alan coming from too, because I'm kind of like that. I was raised in Jersey, so you know,
can't show that.
you can't be too vulnerable out there in the city streets because people, you know, I'm telling you, you gotta be tough. Even when you dying on the inside, you gotta be tough because people see you weak in those type of atmospheres. They will prey on you.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's also the parents' job to try to make you get those emotions out. You know what I mean? Because it's necessary to be able to learn good communication skills. And I think that not having that limited me a lot. Like, I always had my mom. My mom's always been there, but there were so many of us. It was difficult. Like, it was difficult for me to come out. Like my mom straight asked me, and I was just like.
So you didn't come out. She just like her.
Like they all knew. Like they know from.
Well, at what point did you start dressing like? Did you used to dress feminine?
I've always been this way. Always.
It's funny. We were looking through pictures for the wedding at her sister's house when we went up to New York, and there's this picture of Iaellan. She has to be like anywhere from 10 to 12. And she's in this like sweatsuit, and her whole stance and everything is the same exact as it is now. Like even when like 2 years old, she's in this dress and she's just mad. Like
like, why the fuck am I? My brother's over here playing basketball, and I'm standing there like, yo, man, I got it in my phone.
The first time I ever met her mom, we just sat down on the couch and had this like few hour long conversation with each other. First time we ever met each other, and she was telling me, she's like, honestly, I knew one day I was gonna have this conversation with her. You know, it was just that.
Since I was like three.
Yeah.
Like I was wanting to sag my pants, walk around with those.
No, I want to know since you knew from such a young age. You know, because people say it's wrong. You know how it is with same-sex dating and stuff like that. It's so many things, but for yourself who knew at a young age, like how does it feel? Like do you feel like, dang, I should have been a boy? Like
that's exactly what it is. Like I felt from a very young age that something wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom didn't leave me in there long enough. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I had finished cooking up in there, like, but. Because of what we know with everything being sinful, you know, I always looked at it as being something bad. And I got 7 brothers and a father who's very old school. So I never really had doubts when it came to my mom. And because I had such a I don't give a fuck attitude, I didn't really care about other people's opinions. It was all about my family. I wanted my family to be accepting of it. Right.
And how old were you when your mom really just figured it out?
My actual coming out, like when I came out to like all my friends and everything, was like 10th grade probably. Like the end of 10th grade going into 11th grade. Oh. But I never my older sister is like super diva. Right. One of my older sisters, right? And like I remember her putting stilettos on me in the house, and I'm walking around with basketball shorts, a t-shirt, and a basketball, and these fucking stilettos, looking like she trying to teach me how to walk in these heels. Like, yeah, it was ridiculous.
Her mom always says that there's this story about she was getting some award or something, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, she picked out the dress and everything. Like I was really impressed, but she picked out these like little heels, and so her mom was like really excited. She's like, she goes to walk up on the stage, and have you seen Iaellan how she walks? Yeah. She's like, she walks across the stage in these heels just like that. Like now. She's like, I'm just cracking up in my head. But it was literally like, nope. She said the one year for prom, she was in this gorgeous dress. She hates this.
Yeah, I wore a dress for my mom for my 11th grade year.
And then the next year.
One fucking prom queen.
Really?
Yo, I was so so mad, yo. I was so mad. And you know, like, usually when people go to the prom together,
Right.
they don't make king and queen. It's always like a separate couple.
Right.
Me and my boy, who's this little Vietnamese dude.
Y'all going prom king and queen?
So I had to dance with him. This is my boy. So I come down the stairs in the dress, and he's like, and I'm like, Quinn, you better fucking turn your ass around.
Yo, I can't.
I wanted to practice the next day with them nails, and I was just like, you gotta go.
You got the nails done and everything? Oh God, I need pictures. I need pictures. I need pictures.
You want me to say the question?
Oh yeah, it's a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of you were in a relationship, and while you connected immediately, what made you two fall for each other? The timing is everything. What was your goals for pursuing each other's and your fears?
That's a good question.
Wait, time out. Don't answer yet. Y'all hot? I was gonna turn on the AC. I just want to make sure
I'm
y'all.
chilling. Yeah, but you can turn.
Y'all not good? Okay. Cause I know these heights. Go ahead. Since y'all good.
Well, I'll say I was in a relationship when she first came and toured the location, but by the time she got the job there, I was no longer in a relationship. And for me, it was just hearing her story, what she was doing for her family, and honestly, she knew what she was doing. She would come in my office, read me her poems.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know what's in that game.
I write poetry too, and I'm a very creative person, so like that creativity with the music and the poetry,
she knew what she was doing.
It just spoke to me. But I mean, I'm sure all the people that have met her feel it. Like she's just a good ass person.
Yeah, she is.
So
thank you.
like I said, after being in the other relationships, I just really connected with her. I don't know.
You said you were
it was like I was in a relationship, but it was not doing well.
Okay.
And
You say you were engaged?
yeah, it wasn't doing well. Like it was just I was going through a lot with my family. I was stressed. With her. You know, we were fighting about money and shit. Like just
It was just
stupid. And now that I look back on everything, like that I know now, there was reason behind why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And I would talk to her, like she was always super like, I always felt comfortable talking to her, and I don't like talking about my shit to people.
Right.
So the times that I was around her, we would have really good conversations, and it wasn't like her intentions didn't feel like.
Did you know she was into girls at that time?
At that time, yes.
Okay.
But she was always like being positive about the relationship that I was in and trying to help me to get through that, you know. So shit hit the fan, and she took me to pick up my car one day because my car was in the shop, and we just hung out for like an hour. Drove down to the beach and just talked, and I think that's really what solidified everything.
Like,
you know, and I hung out with her like 2 weeks later. She came back from the conference, and that was it.
how long you guys date before y'all got married?
Well, I left the job.
Oh.
Right, I left because I didn't want to jeopardize like her position in any way. So I left, like I was only there for a few months, and I loved my job, but I ended up leaving. Yeah, it was tough. My mom was like, "You're gonna leave," and I'm just like, "I have to."
You have to.
So I left, and probably like 8 or 9 months later, we got together and made it official. And we were seeing each other, but we didn't want to like jump into a committed relationship.
Yeah, like I said, you know, she had my entire female staff at that place going crazy. Like they'd be coming in my office,
and I'm like, no, they don't.
Like you can't. And the whole time, like, you know, we were kind of talking on the low or whatever, not anything serious, just talking to each other. And there was this one time this girl came, she's like, I can't be alone in this.
Right.
And I am serious. I am
She's
cracking up, laughing. I'm like,
yo, you don't understand.
I know. But all the little front desk girls, like there's this one girl, Marissa. She's the sweetest. She doesn't work for me anymore, but she was like, I'm Iaellan's work wife, because she knew I had a little crush on her. She'd be like, oh, she's taking me out to dinner tonight. And she was with somebody. She was just joking around. But no, even her, she's
baby one.
She's so cute. And she has such a good personality. That she wins everybody over.
Right. So. That's true. So, wait.
Chemistry.
Me too. I love it. This one is for Iaellan. Because when we're talking about you coming out or whatever. So, have you ever been with a man?
Yes.
Oh, you have? I can't even see that either. Like, so you was in a full-blown relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So what was that like?
Interesting.
Okay, elaborate.
Okay, alright. He's still a good friend of mine. He's actually gay now.
Oh wow, I can't.
He's cute too.
I felt like I was probably a little bit more masculine in that relationship as well. But we were always really good friends. I was a freshman and he was a senior, but I played basketball. So when I was in middle school, I played for the high school.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Damn, you was that good.
Wow.
Right, that's what I said, you was that good. Like, how you?
I used to be pretty good, man. So when I was in 7th grade, I played for the high school. So I would get bused to the high school for practice. So by the time I was in 9th grade, everybody already knew who I was.
Okay.
So he was a senior and I was a freshman.
Okay.
And I was friends with his best friend at the time. Like, we were cool. Because he played basketball on the side too. So I was like, yo, which one of y'all taking me to prom? Just like fucking around. And he legit like took me to prom.
Oh wow.
And we ended up dating for like, we were probably together for like a year and a half.
Oh, so y'all was intimate?
Once.
A year and a half, y'all was intimate once?
I was young, man. I was like 14.
She lied. Once?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you was 14. That is young. Wait, so just one? So you didn't like the experience?
One time, man.
It only takes one.
Alright.
So you didn't like the experience?
It's not. I don't like penetration at all.
It was just like your thing.
It's not my thing.
That's interesting. I thought you would have said you've never been with a man. Like I could have seen you. So that was your only.
I thought so too.
There was one point where I legit like tried.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like my sister really wanted me to dress a certain way. Like when I got to middle school and shit. Like so I tried to feel differently.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you try to fight that feeling.
There were a couple guys, like there were guys that I dated, like my mom would be like, you date these guys for 2 weeks and then it's like if you can't beat me in basketball, my man, I want no parts. So I tried it. It just wasn't for me. I was always with guys, I'm cool with you.
Right,
you know?
so it was just never your thing.
Yeah.
And you already answered because the question was for both of y'all. Have you ever been with a guy? You've already basically said you have.
Yeah,
she was married.
I was married before.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what you do when you're all like religious like that.
Oh.
It's that no sex before marriage. You're trying to get married.
Right. So
yeah, I got married young when I was 19. And then we separated like pretty soon after that at 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So how was that experience for you?
We honestly, we were like best friends. We had grown up together, and actually that girl Mandy that I said was my best friend, that was his sister. So we're still best friends. She used to joke around. She was like, "No, you got it wrong. Fate was supposed to bring us together, not my brother together."
Man.
So she's like, "We're the soulmates here."
Right.
They are.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah. I mean, I won't speak super negatively about it. I feel like we were young.
Right.
And some people aren't ready for marriage, and that's what happened. And yeah, I actually told him afterwards. We still remained friends afterwards. We don't really talk now, but I was like, you freed me, honestly. Like, you really did, and we were just cool.
Nice. So I'm gonna go back to, because I was gonna ask who proposed to who, but you did also say Iaellan proposed. How was that? I feel like that story would be super dope too. How was that?
Well,
It's a funny story, actually. It's a funny story.
Yeah. So I had planned. My birthday is April 5th. All right. So I planned to throw a party. So I'm like, all right, I want to throw a party. I want to invite my friends from New York. I want you to meet my best friends, because she hasn't met my best friends. Ford Trio. Shout out Ford Trio. So I'm like, I want you to meet my best friends. Meanwhile, they already know what my plan is.
Okay.
So my niece was supposed to come and sing. I had wrote a song. My niece was gonna sing. I redid the Beyonce and Jay-Z on and on.
Okay.
But my niece can sing her ass off. So like, we were supposed to perform it together. So it was gonna be, my boy owns a DJ business, so he came and DJ. It was a legit party, and I was supposed to perform. So I told her I'm gonna perform one of my songs. It's gonna be like a turn up. So she's like, all right, like, well, we'll have it lit.
Right.
So the song that I was planning on performing was the song that I wrote to propose to her. So she didn't know. Her friends knew, like, everybody knew it was coming. So like 3-4 in the morning, the night before the party, I get a text from my niece that she's not getting on the plane. The ticket was already bought, everything. She's not coming.
Why she didn't?
She just bailed on me, right? So I'm in the bed and I'm like, and she's laying next to me and she's like, why are you like,
well, she kept getting like antsy about certain people being there, and I really couldn't wrap my head around. Like, I'm like, babe, whoever comes are the people that are supposed to be there. You know, like, it's okay. You know, we're gonna have a good time regardless of who comes here. You know, it could just be me and you up in here and the DJ, and we're still gonna have fun.
My mom was making the cake, the engagement cakes, like the whole shit.
Yeah,
like,
everything.
I had everything planned out, right? So she's laying next to me in the bed. She realized how pissed I was about the situation. So she's like, I'm just gonna stay up with you, like, until you chill out. So I'm just like stressing over. I'm like, now I'm gonna have to change this song, like everything, right? So I look at her and I'm like, you believe everything happens for a reason? And she's like, yeah. So I get up, like, in my boxers, I'm like in the closet, and I come out with the ring, and I just propose.
So you changed it?
Propose right there.
It's personable.
Yeah, no, and honestly, it was funny because there were certain of my friends that
were like, she's not
like,
gonna like this shit in public.
Yeah, like, don't do it in public.
So
Was that what freaked you out though?
No, I think that I would have really liked it. You know, I would have definitely. I honestly, 2 months before this, there was this ring that she had bought me. It was like this beautiful ring, and the gem had fallen out when I was in the shower and fell down the drain, and I was just like heartbroken over it. I was crying and everything. And so I told her, she was like, oh, I'm gonna buy you another ring. And I honestly didn't want to get married again. Like, I had always told her, like, I don't want to get married. And after I was with her, I started feeling differently about that, you know. She's never done it. Like, I wanted her to have that experience, and I really felt like I was gonna be with her forever. So I was like, I don't want to do this again if it's gonna be
like what you experienced.
Yeah, what I experienced before. So, and I'm not somebody that like nagged. I did not nag her about getting engaged or anything. But I said one thing, and I was like, no, the next ring you get me better be an engagement ring.
No, she said to me at one point in our relationship, just randomly. This was after she told me she didn't want to get married again. If I ever get married again, my ring has to be carved out of a sycamore.
Really? A sycamore tree?
So I'm like,
alright, she wanna get married. That's my key.
no, I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna find a sycamore ring? You know, so I had to have it made. So the ring that I had her made is like a sycamore tree. So like the French.
Oh, nice.
And these are like the pods that are on the sycamore.
Where's your other one?
It's in my wallet right now.
Oh, that's
My hands were a little bit swollen.
So yeah, all her friends were pissed at me like,
yes.
But the funny thing was that it was the morning of April Fool's Day.
Oh, so
it was literally 5:00 in the morning on April Fool's Day. But I told her, like, it better be an engagement ring. And she was like, do you really think that we're ready for marriage? And I was like, I guess not.
How long y'all been dating at this
I
point?
called for like 4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, it was like 3.
3?
Yeah. It was like 3.
Yeah, like 3 years. So I called my sister, I'm crying, and my sister knows this whole time that she's gonna propose to me, and she's like, no, she probably doesn't feel that way, like trying to like talk me down. I'm like, no, that's what she said. So I had literally no clue that this.
Yeah, the whole time I'm talking to her, she probably didn't hear nothing I said. She was just like, oh my god, like laughing.
I was like beside myself. I'm like half asleep. I'm like, is this really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the party was lit.
Yeah, I knew that she was, because the box she had it in looked like a necklace box. It's like this big box. It's not like a little ring box. So when she first brought it out, I'm like, why is she giving me a gift on her birthday?
Right.
It didn't even like click that it was a ring. And then she comes to the side of the bed and she grabs my hand and her hand was like trembling. And I'm like, I think this is it. So yeah.
That shit was pretty
You got
funny.
down on your knee?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit into you guys' wedding. Like this is flowing so perfectly. Get into your wedding and the decor. Guys, I'm gonna put some pictures up of the decor of their wedding. It was so dope.
What was the theme?
Yes.
It's like bohemian, like
Honestly, I love like magical fairy tale type, like mystical stuff. So because of what I felt with her, I really just wanted it to feel magical. Like you're walking into this like other world with like fairies and stuff, you know. And I wanted to take the guests on that trip, and that magical ride. Before
we came on air, you said that you basically DIY'd everything.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm gonna put the pictures up, because that was freaking amazing. And you know, I stalked the page, so that's how I see the wedding pictures. Yeah, don't judge me. When I see the wedding pictures, I just seen it was so much. All the things seemed so significant. Like she had like what's that? The wooden bow tie, and then one of the things that really stuck out was on your jacket, or you had the key.
Yeah, my little like boutonniere.
Yeah, we had planned on making her boutonniere, and it was just gonna be like skeleton keys and maybe some feathers and stuff like that. And I ended up, it was gonna be one of those pocket watches instead of a regular boutonniere. And I was at the store and I saw this like open face locket, and she just kept saying like, I want a piece of my niece there. I want a piece of my niece there. And I got the locket and I was like, how would you feel if I made it with her picture in it? And she was like, that would be so special.
And your niece that passed away, is that the one that was supposed to sing?
No,
it was someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
She actually
got a big
sang at
family.
my niece's funeral.
Okay.
I don't know if you are a Twilight fan, but it kind of reminded me
of Twilight.
The Twilight.
Yes.
I like Twilight.
Yeah.
I'm not like a super fan or anything like that. I used to think that I was like not very high maintenance growing up, and then I realized like you have fake nails, you had your hair dyed all up, you know, and I just kind of wanted to let all of that go. And so for a while there, I was just like this, you know, stinky hippie chick, like not wearing any deodorant, and just I would live in a tree house type of.
My nickname for her used to be Funk Mice for Clothes.
And so that's why I said I just wanted to kind of channel that like hippie-ish vintage vibe. Like
you really want that. It was so dope. It's fairy tale. Like everything you're saying you wanted for the wedding, it really came out based on the pictures I saw.
I felt that way. Like when I walked my mom's very crafty. That's where I got it from. Like, she always helped us do projects when we were in school, and they would always be awesome. And so she came over and she helped me. Iaellan's mom is super crafty too. She loves making stuff, so she came over and helped too. And we just banged all of it out, and we were
shout out
vibing
to
out.
Andrew, because make sure she gets
She came into town, and in the where we're eating dinner in the background, there's this big curtain that has a big dream catcher in the middle. And we made all of that.
What
like
the
the only thing we didn't make was the lace up at the top, but all the yarn that we strung from it, we handmade. So we're like, I don't even know what time it was in the morning. She's burning her fingers with the hot glue gun. Like, you better be glad I love y'all. You know, like you said, I'm not gonna have any more fingers left after
I was done with that mirror. So, dang, I forgot what the next.
The dress? Did we talk about the dress?
The dress. No, any significant with the dress? It was a beautiful dress. It was simple.
So, again, it's so crazy to me because, you know, for me, I've experienced a wedding before. And with my first one, like, you know, I found my dress. It was not anything bad against David's Bridal, but I got my dress at David's Bridal. I didn't feel like special, you know? And my mother-in-law pretty much decorated the whole thing. And it was beautiful too, but I didn't care about anything. With this wedding, I wanted
every little detail
perfect. And so I actually searched online for types of dresses that I wanted and boutiques that sold them. So I found this little boutique down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's Lighthouse Bridal and Letterpress Design. So they do, they have this like little press machine that they have in the store. They do your invitations and all of that stuff. And I went down there, and it was just such a special thing. Like, she only brought one bride in at a time.
So it was very intimate.
It was very intimate. I walked in, and her entire boutique looked like what I wanted my wedding to look like. And I'm like, this is the place I'm gonna buy my dress. Like,
and did y'all do the whole thing where Iaellan didn't see your dress or anything until the day? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it vintage since you did it?
It was not vintage.
Okay.
It was an Anais Annette gown, and it was just, I had tried on a bunch of other dresses. I thought I wanted something a little bit more form-fitting and sexy, and you know, everybody wants to push you in like one way or another.
Right.
And I put that dress on, and I just felt so special in it. Like, I just felt like this is exactly what I was looking for. That like vintage look, still a little bit sexy, but like boho enough.
Right. It was like just everything that fits you.
Yeah,
It's your personality.
and the lady knew. She pulls me back into the little area, and she's like, "Listen, I know they're giving their opinions out there, but you know what you want. So don't listen to them. You will feel it when you wear it." So I got through all the dresses, and she looks at me. She's like, "You want to try that one on again?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's try that one on again." And I started crying immediately when I knew that it was the one. So it was a beautiful experience picking out the dress too.
Right. So we're gonna change the vibe up a little bit, and I want to get you guys' opinion because, you know, I have people that on my Facebook, you know, social media, that's lesbians, and they go through, you know, they go on and they post different things. And one of the things that I hear, and I want to see how y'all feel, in the lesbian community, you have a lot of females who go back and forth between female and males, and it's so confusing. Like, you'll date a female and they'll be old, you know, lesbian, then they'll cheat on you with a man, or then when you break up, they with a man. What are you guys' opinion? Do you guys feel the same way about that?
Oh, I don't think we feel the exact same way. I think I have a problem, because like I always felt like Iaellan don't date someone who likes both, because you always end up getting your feelings hurt, you know. But I always end up, because I like challenges.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go for the one that nobody thinks I can get.
Right.
So that's just always what it's been for me, and I always end up getting let down. So I don't agree with it. I think it's safer to stay on one side.
Right.
Because there's so much shit going around nowadays. Like, I don't think you should jump back and forth over the fence. You know, like, pick one side.
Pick one side, yeah. Pick
But
one side.
whatever to each his own.
Yeah,
I don't judge people. Don't get me wrong. Like,
but you do agree that it's a lot of that in the lesbian.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of straight people, quote unquote straight people, that are doing shit that people don't know about.
That's true too.
A lot of men, especially. So,
right. That'd be the scariest part.
That's why you
Like
gotta
that's
be careful,
so
man. That's why
scary
you gotta be
because
careful.
right now is a lot of men that they not coming out.
Yo, the bottom, this is what I say. Everybody at some point in their life thinks about it.
Right.
Is curious about it. Whether they want to admit it or not, whether they act on it or not, at some point in your life you have this curiosity. It's natural. It's normal. You know? That's why everybody gets the whole, oh, it's a phase growing up.
Right.
And
because
some
of the
people
right.
it's not a phase. Some
Right.
people it is. Like, you have those curiosities. People just don't like to talk about it. Or they got family who's so against it that they'll never say it. It's always gonna be under behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Well, I mean, for me, I've never experienced it. I don't know if I would say that I've thought about it, but I will say, like I said, like when I met you, it did cross my mind. It did cross my mind. Like, wait, hold up, that's not my lifestyle.
She called me.
I called James too. I was like, James, listen. I even called James, like, yo, James, I'm not about that life, but yo, whoever this island person is, she lucky. She talked about, she brought it up in the massage. My wife. I was like, okay.
I'll say on that subject, because I do want to add that in this day and age where, you know, even with gay people and lesbians, we all want acceptance.
Right.
And so I feel to not accept the people that, like, for me personally, I always tell people, I don't care about gender. Like, if I fall in love with you, that doesn't matter to me.
Right.
So I'm gonna love you for the person that you are and not what you have in your pants, you know?
Right.
So, and I feel like some people feel that way. Now there's girls that are out there and they're just flip-flopping around. And I feel like those girls are normally dishonest in the relationships, and they're like, no, I don't like that, you know? I've always been very honest with Iaellan, like,
that makes a difference.
yeah.
You know, 'cause my ex will argue with me. Because I'll be like, yo, just admit you like it. You know what I'm saying?
Like the dick.
She's like, no, I like girls. And I'm just like, stop fucking lying. Like, I have sex with you. I know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, she's always been.
And I have a very strong, like, stance with that too. So, you know, but I feel like honesty is the key. Like, don't kid yourself.
Right.
But I will say that when I was because I was only with like one guy in the midst of, you know, me breaking up with my marriage and being with my other girlfriend. And there was other people that I kind of dated on and off, girls. And I missed being with a girl when I was with him. Like, I remember specifically being at a bar with him and we were eating and I saw this lesbian couple and I was legitimately like hurting inside.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I just miss that like passion you feel with a girl, that connection you feel with a girl, and the sex is completely different. So, you know, even when I was with him,
you still had that.
but when I'm with a woman, I
you don't
don't miss being
with
with a guy. Like, with a guy, it always feels like there's something else missing.
Okay.
Yo, but you know, nowadays, because of how prevalent it is for people to mess with the same sex, it's like, it's very difficult to trust people. You know what I'm saying? And I think because there's so much dishonesty, and loyalty doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So like it creates so many issues in relationships. Like with me, most of the relationships that I've been in where people have cheated on me, they assume because of how I look and my personality that I'm fucking with somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that gives you grounds to go and do what you want to do because you assume that I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like,
so for you, how is it for you? Because I know I struggle with, I wouldn't say insecurity, but if that's how you want to call it, you know, like she is so.
Absolutely.
So how is that for you? Because.
And you're so confident.
Yeah, you seem so confident with it. Because I'm like, yo.
Almost to a fault though, because I'm like, damn, if something really does happen, I'm going to be like, I never would have thought that would happen. We'll get on sexual subjects, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah,
but you know, Iaellan and I are very open.
Mm-hmm.
If we see a hot girl or something like that, I'm like, babe, did you
like
see the ass on that girl?
Right.
You know, I'm the one probably checking them out, you know, before she is, but I don't feel like there's a lot of jealousy between the two of us either. So that's what's different.
It's trust.
Yeah.
you have to have that.
You know,
like, and I think we've gone through enough together in our relationship to have such a strong connection and such a strong trust for each other that it'd be really hard to break that at this point unless one of us fucked up completely. You know, like we just.
Don't bet that fucker. I need y'all together.
I told her I got divorced one time. It's not happening the second time. So she better take it out.
I just know that y'all super cute because I even had somebody text me. Shout out to Brianna, I don't even know if she's still listening. I almost forgot. She texted me. She was like, I've met that couple before. She was like, small world through an old friend. So she was like, I thought they looked familiar. So I don't know. I'll show y'all. Her name Brianna.
Brianna what?
Jackson. I believe her last name is Jackson.
Yeah, we have to.
Sorry, Bree. I'm shouting your whole government out. But yeah, I'll show you a picture of her when we done.
Yeah.
But she was like, I know that couple. So that's super cute. So as you brought up sex, I guess, you know, I'm going to skip around a little bit and go into that a little bit. So I had some, you know, like I said, I had gathered some questions from other people too because I was like, yo. But.
Come on, spit it out.
So one of the questions I had got asked is, do you guys use any toys in the bedroom?
Yes, we do.
Elaborate.
I feel like this is Iaellan sometimes.
Right. You know what? I actually have a friend. I'm sure I can shout her out. But I have a friend, and I will never forget this. We went to high school together, and she told me about one of her like sexcapades. So you know how like you're dating a guy, and you're like, I'm coming over, and like when you're young, they know what they coming over for. Yeah. So the dude will open the door boxes, you know, a thing, or ready. And she used to tell me that she used to, when the girl was coming over, she used to put the strap on.
Be ready.
Like, you know, with the boxes on and stuff. So I was dying. So when I got the question, I was like, ew. So, she said this is your topic.
I'll say this. This was so funny.
Interesting.
I will say, in my past relationships with girls, I did not use anything. So this was like a first for me.
Oh, okay.
And I was with my friend, and she's like, go pick one out.
Iaellan said that?
Yeah, go pick one out. So I'm like, and my friend's like, I want to go with you. All right.
Yeah.
We're like making sure, we're like, you're about to come with me to go pick out a dick. We're like, this one or that one?
Like, oh my God.
But I always joke like with people that ask me like, oh, like how can you be with a woman, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, listen, I can go to the store,
pick out whatever size,
and pick whatever I want out. I could have like a million different ones and get, you know what, with one every single night, a different one every single night. I was like, you have to deal with the same one.
Right.
You have to deal with the same one.
When the dude tries to come at me like about certain things, and I'm just like, yo, listen, there ain't shit that you can do that I can't.
Right.
And I can do it better.
So wait, okay, so for you, Iaellan, this is not even on the thing, but now that we're talking about it,
Yeah.
so with you, what is having the you use the strap on?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you get your satisfaction?
For satisfaction.
That way and other ways. Like, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't like penetration. So,
Which was hard for me.
because that,
Oh, you wanted to strap her too?
No, well, I mean, maybe.
not in a million years.
Probably not her, but maybe like a girl that looked like me.
That's not for me.
I would never touch her. I'm sorry. I would never touch
But
her.
no, like, for me, it's because I feel like that part of me is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel complete. So, I get pleasure out of that anyway.
Okay.
Just satisfying.
Would you ever consider like actually getting the work
I
done?
mean, I have.
You have considered it?
How much
Many
is it?
years. It's very expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
But then I heard it's really small.
It just depends on what you're going for and what you're willing to do. But this is something that I've contemplated over years and years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would feel complete by doing that, but at the same time, I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Because I don't feel like it's real, even though it is. Also, the whole process of going through it is very dangerous.
A lot.
It's dangerous. You know, you could die.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, with any surgery, you could die.
But
And it's more prevalent now, so it's, I guess, more successful.
no.
But it's just a lot.
Don't
Like,
fix this
I would probably, if I was to do anything, I would get my breast removed.
And I said, you really got that?
I know.
Right? What's there?
That shit's gotta go.
What's there? Literally.
Yeah.
Ain't no use for 'em.
Listen.
So you don't get any cause you know like the breast like for women.
Even men, I mean, it's
So you don't get no
an arousal
Yeah.
spot.
So it's not an arousal spot for you.
But it's just it's weird. It weirds me out. It creeps me out.
This is what I tell people, like, that was also something that was different for me coming into this relationship, because the girls that I had dated before didn't feel the same way.
She felt,
you know. So and they were a little bit more feminine too. So when I got with her, it was something that I really had to like come to understand, because I was like, but I love you just the way you are now.
Right.
You know, but I had to come.
You know.
I had to come to the realization that it didn't have anything to do with me and how I felt about her. It really was just feeling like you're in a body, like stuck in a body that you didn't ask for, you know?
Because I remember a few years ago, I don't know, it was on YouTube. It was a boy. Yeah, it was a little boy, but he wanted her, I think her girl name was Jasmine. I don't know if y'all ever heard. She's
Yes.
Jazzy, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I had watched her story a while ago, and she was like basically saying how she just always felt like she just was born in the wrong body, you know. And I know in certain, you know, in religions, it's like, yo, you're not supposed to step across that. You're, you know, guy and girl, girl and guy. But I always wondered how it felt for people who felt like they didn't have a choice.
It's fucked up. It's a fucked up thing to live with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to people who deal with depression, and everybody handles and copes differently. And to me, it's hard for me to understand certain things, because it's like, yo, I live with this shit every single day, yo, like every day. So it's every day I have those thoughts.
Right.
Like, what if I was just to go through with it?
Yeah.
Like, would I feel? How would I feel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think about it all the time.
I have a question. Now, if she would go through with this surgery, and how you feel about men, like you feel like there's something missing when you're with a guy, would you feel that same way if she
that's
go
a
through
good
the story?
We've talked about that. Like, we've talked about her getting, top surgery. She's like, you get so sad whenever we talk about this. I'm like, but, I like girls for a reason. But when it's something deeper than that, and like I said, coming to the realization and like, just when you're so connected to that person, like you can feel like what they're feeling. And so, I had a conversation with one of her family members and they were like, you just need to let her know that you love her like that, just the way she, I'm like, I do. I'm not like over here like, but really just feeling like, I can't even imagine feeling that way, feeling like stuck in
a body
that doesn't feel yours.
Did you ever get depressed? Like, did you struggle with depression?
I still deal with it. I hide it well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I deal with my stress differently. To me, it's like, I can be very like closed off with my emotions. She always be like, what are you thinking about? And I just be like, nothing. But my head is just turning, and I don't like putting my stress on other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's even hard for me to put what I feel into words a lot of times. Cause it's a fucked up feeling.
Right. So, I mean, again, like, could you just, I don't know, I just feel so intrigued only by the idea of being someone that you feel is different. You feel like that's so interesting to me because, again, I was raised in a Christian home and I was also taught that, that's not good, like a man, whatever. But
that was one of the first things that like some of my brothers said to me and my father when I came out. Like, oh, well, if this is what you're choosing to do, don't get a sex change. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you say that to somebody that is like opening their heart to you and expect that's super fucking selfish. Number one. So that in itself changed my feelings and my relationships with a lot of people in my family. And I don't, other than like my sisters and maybe a few of my brothers, I don't feel connected to them like that. And it's I love them, I always will. I just don't feel connected to them because they don't even fucking know who I am. They don't take the time to
try to understand
the real me. Like you want me to be a certain way. Like, I'll always be your little sister and I'm forever. But you don't take the time to understand what I feel. Like, try to understand what I feel because you too caught up in your feelings and how it makes you feel. So those are the type of things that I think about though, because I do care about my family so much. It's like, how will my decisions affect them? And then when I sit and I have my own personal thoughts, it's like, you're gonna be a miserable motherfucker for the rest of your life
if you
keep doing that.
Wow. Have you guys ever brought anybody into the bedroom?
Y'all going deep.
I said we would get into that topic.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Okay.
A couple that plays together, sings together.
Yep. So that's what I said. That's kind of what I hinted at when I said, there's not a lot of jealousy in the relationship. Like, we had talked about it early on.
We just have respect for each other.
Yeah.
So when y'all bring somebody in, is it a female or a male?
What's that?
Female. Why would you think that?
No, because it could be a guy too. Maybe she feel like she wants the D. Like,
You think I'm a...
Okay, you think Iaellan's gonna allow that?
She's like, I don't have any.
Do you have any insecurities about that? Like, just another man being with...
What do you like? I mean, I wouldn't call it an insecurity. I'm very protective. You know what I'm saying? And most of the women that have cheated on me have cheated on me with a guy. So like, I wouldn't really call it an insecurity, but
hell no.
I'm protected as fuck. Like, it ain't gonna happen.
Honestly, there's really, and people ask me the questions that you're asking me all the time, and my ex-husband used to say to me, "You're gonna leave me for a girl."
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And because, you know, back in MySpace days, my entire back page was Adriana Lima from the Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, I used to tell him, like, if I ever met her,
It's a wrap. It's over.
I don't even know what I would say to her. So my whole entire MySpace page was her, and he was like, "You're gonna leave me for a girl one day."
How do you? Sorry.
Yes.
How do you choose who you bring? Like, is it at random sometime, or do you go on? Because you know, us guys, we have Grindr, but I don't know what you have.
No, honestly, you know, I'm not gonna put anybody's business out there, but it just has to be somebody that we mutually feel like
It's gonna be respectful.
we can trust.
You're not gonna hit me up
On the side.
You're not gonna try to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Right. Cause I hear a lot of that too, like where people bring people in into their relationship or their sex
People
life,
get
and
too
then they get detached.
Well, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing is people are too fucking clingy.
Yeah. I can see that. Like, that's why people tend to, if they're married, they don't really play around with that because they don't know if the other
there's a fine line.
Yeah.
But I feel like if the trust wasn't there between the two of us too, like, I know that it would be that other person trying to, you know. But no, it's just somebody that we've thought about bringing somebody that we've seen out, just like we're gonna take you home.
What's that girl named Tiana Taylor saying how
She did it with her.
like how she, you know, they'll be out and then they'll see somebody and be like, all right, we finna
This is the funniest story ever. And we're like still mad to this day.
I get tight every time we talk about that.
So we go out to the beach with my family, and like my younger sister had just had a baby, and it was her first day. It was Iaellan, and my older sister was there, my brother was there, like everybody was there. So there was a point where she was running down after Ariel on the beach.
Her sister.
And I'm trying to keep up after them. And I see these girls like hula hooping over on the side. And I'm just like, I'll get goofy. I'm just one of those people, like, if I see a beautiful girl, like, I'm gonna hype you up. Like, I'm not one of those, like, catty, like, hey, So, there was this absolutely beautiful girl, and she was mixed. She was like Egyptian, and
she was Egyptian. She was fire.
She was
fire.
Beautiful. Like, everything about this girl was beautiful. And she's like, yeah, I've been trying to hula hoop all day. I can't get it. I'm like, no, you're gonna be able to get it. I'm like hyping her up, and so she starts to hula hoop, and she's actually getting it. She's like, it's just because you're here with me. And blah blah blah. So I finally get to Iaellan, and I'm like, babe, they just invited me back to the house. Like, I don't know what we're about to
party. Like, we're about to go over here.
And the girl wasn't there. She didn't even see the girl. I'm like, but this girl
is stop.
It's over. So we go to the house.
Yo, this shit was so funny because I'm standing with her sister who's pissed, right?
Yeah. She wasn't at first. She was chilling out.
There's a lot of people in there, right? So there's a couple rooms, people in different rooms or whatever. And meanwhile, we don't know nobody. Right. So I had seen the girl, but
she goes to walk in the bathroom and the girl's in there like doing her makeup. And
so
she was like, oh, I'm sorry. The girl was like, oh, I'm sorry. And Iaellan just like looks back at me like, and I'm like, yes. That is her.
So like 5 minutes later, I'm standing there with Ariel and I'm looking around like, where the fuck is Chantelle? Right? So I start walking around the house. Look, this shit was funny. So we just came from the beach, mind you. So I got like a towel on my neck, right? So I'm walking through the rooms and I walk up to this one room and the door was cracked. So I open the door and as soon as I open the door, Chantelle's standing there. She's got like aloe in her hands and the girl just has this dress on and she's just like ass naked, just lays on the bed, just ass up, and Chantelle's just rubbing aloe on. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down,
Right?
enjoy watching.
Listen, this girl comes up to me and she's like, I really think I got burnt. Like, you think that? And I'm like, absolutely. And she's like, I really feel it on my butt. And I'm like, no problem.
Yo. And her body was ridiculous.
It was.
You know what? I love how open you were. Like any other dude, they would have went crazy.
Yo.
Yeah.
It was.
That happens for a little bit, and then my sister just has this like freak out moment, like we need to go, like blah 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 blah. So Iaellan and I have it in our mind, like
We're coming
back.
Right. Like we gonna drop you off and we gonna come back.
So
So they're like, you're not gonna come back. We're gonna keep your towel to make sure. Cause I'm a Batman and it was a Batman.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna take my Batman towel.
I'm coming back to that.
Yep. So me and my sister end up getting into this fight on the way home. She's like, all you care about, you're just trying to have a threesome with that girl. She put my shit on blast with my mom because my mom.
And her mom was like,
yeah, my mom's like, you guys need to go back there.
Oh wow, yeah, shout out to mom.
So we were just like so over the situation at that point. Like I couldn't even believe. I'm like, I can't believe she just told that to my mom. You know,
Right.
there's just certain things you don't want mom.
Yeah.
So they were blowing
They were blowing
our phone up. And
Who, the girl?
Girl, it was two of them at
Yeah.
this point. They like, yo, can
Y'all coming back?
Yeah.
Y'all want that?
No,
We didn't.
Damn.
I told you this story still makes me
it
mad
hurts my heart
to this
to
day.
even think about it. Like,
And
why didn't we
I
go?
remember.
So when she was rubbing the aloe, you just was sitting there?
Oh, she was
Yeah,
laid back.
I was chilling.
Like,
I was watching. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Why y'all ain't get it popping then
The
though?
sister was there.
Because
it was a
My
house full
sister
of
walked
people.
in.
It was a house full of people.
Oh.
I would have told her, go to the car. Go to the car.
That you was massaging her ass. I mean, I know she said it was burnt, but did you say I'm a massage therapist?
No, she
Like,
said, can you
no.
rub some aloe on me?
Like, I knew. Here's the thing. I can tell when somebody's down.
Okay.
She was
So,
definitely down. for sure.
Immediately when I saw her on the beach,
And it was
and
her
we
last
talked,
night there too. I was
I knew. That's why I was like, we're going to that house.
Yeah.
This girl is like, she was so, I don't know what it was, but it's still the same thing. Like there's just this like kind of mutual feeling between the two of you guys, and we were never able to find her after that.
Oh my
She was only here for
god.
that night. She was only busy.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I'd have been mad too.
That story hurts me.
Yeah. So we're gonna go on to a little bit of a more of a sensitive topic. We're wrapping up till we're getting close. A little bit more of a sensitive topic. So Iaellan told me that you guys are trying to conceive.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that process. I know she told me that you guys did it the first time and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of around the time you guys were supposed to come originally.
Yes.
So she was like, I don't know if she's coming. I'm like, no, we gotta have her on. But just, tell a little bit about that process and how was it going for you guys?
So, I feel like the process was kind of like a little bit long and drawn out because, well, first of all, trying to find a donor is really, really hard. Especially when you're looking for something a little bit more specific. Like we wanted somebody that, had Iaellan's same background, and we ended up finding somebody who we felt was perfect. Like their baby pictures look very similar to each other. And we had even talked like, what's more important? Like, is the looks more important, or because we would read people's profiles, and there was one other guy that we really, really liked because of his profile. The site we used was awesome. They, did interviews, you could hear their voice, and both of them spoke to us on a different level. They were artists, they were very creative. We wanted somebody that was athletic, and so we ended up getting it, but it took us a while to actually get to the point where we were gonna try.
Right.
Some stuff happened at work that was, kind of changed things up, and I'm like, it's too crazy right now for us. Like, I'm too stressed, it's too crazy right now. I was, calculating, my cycles and stuff like that.
Things we do.
Yeah. And I looked, things had started to calm down at work, and I looked, and I was actually supposed to be ovulating on our anniversary. So I'm like, what a perfect time to try for the first time, It'll be special, we'll be away. So, yeah, people don't tell you, like, the crazy stuff.
It's a lot.
It comes in this, like, huge box.
It's like a tank.
It's like a tank with, like...
So you guys did it at home?
Yeah. We wanted to try it at home first.
Okay.
So, we were, like, taking pictures of, like, the box, like, the thing that it comes in. And it's, like, this little tiny, like, vial that's in this, like, big...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they keep it in nitrogen.
Okay.
To keep it frozen.
Okay.
So,
Did it have to thaw out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Do you have to have it like room temperature or?
So you leave it out.
They have very specific instructions on it. Yeah.
Really?
So.
Did you use a turkey base?
Yeah, I just was about to ask you. I did a turkey base.
I mean, that's essentially what the method is, but there's a strap that,
right.
Yeah.
Wait, is it what?
There's a toy.
Oh. Yeah, there's a what? So it's a strap
that ejaculates. Yes.
What?
Yeah. So we're very intimate with it. Yeah.
Oh, so y'all really got the full experience.
That was the whole point.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry if any of our family is watching right
I
now.
know. That's how I'm scared. Family members watching.
Yep, and they sure are.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was a crazy situation. I was stressing out about it, honestly, because you only have a certain amount of time
Right.
when you get it. Like, it expires in 7
because
days.
if you don't use it by a certain point, it's a
a
wrap.
wrap.
Yeah. So, I had my little ovulation test that I was taking every day, and I had gotten the cheap ones at first, so I was like, man, we need to go get the more expensive ones. We need to get the digital one. We took that, nothing. So I was starting to stress out. I'm like, I don't want to miss out on this. We spent a lot of money,
Right.
And like I said early, I'm in my 30s, so it's like that biological clock
you
is
feel like you
ticking. And I literally cried myself to sleep on our anniversary because I was so stressed out. And she woke up and she just like held me until I fell asleep. And the next morning we were getting ready to leave our Airbnb that we had. And I was like, let me just take one more test while I'm cleaning up. And it was one of those digital things. So I walked back in and I come out and I'm like, we have a smiley face, babe. We can do it. So she's like dropping everything. Like, we're about to do this right now.
It's about to go down.
Right. So we did. We tried. And it just didn't work out for us. So
it's gonna work. I told Iaellan I work for a pharmacy and we do deal with infertility medication. So we know like the whole process, and sometimes it's up, down, sometimes it takes a few processes, but it will definitely.
Have you tried yoga?
Have I tried
Yoga and then do the procedure.
Well, I'm gonna take her to get like some acupuncture done next time, and prior to everything.
Got a person.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the
I'll get that.
Yeah, the hard part is that for regular couples, they can try multiple times throughout that period.
Right.
For us,
is that one?
We could get multiple things and try, but again, it's very expensive. So it's hard, to even do that. So, we wanted to try that first and see if it would work out, and then save up and
do. So the next time, are you guys gonna do it more like at the doctor, or y'all gonna try that same procedure again? Or y'all didn't think about it?
We haven't really discussed
Yeah.
what our next step is gonna be.
Y'all gonna be great parents.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that you guys are trying, and Chantelle is the one. So say something work, whatever. Would you consider?
Good question.
Good
question.
We did just talk about this. I have no desire at all. It like the thought of it really
can't even see
traumatizes
one
me. I tell it like, yo, if it ever came to a point where I had to do that, nobody would see me for 9 months.
But you would do it.
No,
She straight said, no, you won't. I won't allow it.
yeah.
I don't want to though. I
just
don't.
know she would be so miserable
If she
in
did.
her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a strong believer, like energy
Mhm.
is very powerful.
Especially
So,
for a baby.
like, I wouldn't want her to be miserable
For the-
throughout this
the
pregnancy with this child
And
that
the
we've
baby,
been wanting,
yeah.
honestly.
Right.
And I told her last night to get really real. I'd probably be a little bit jealous that
I was
she
gonna
would
ask
be
you.
able to
I was gonna ask
carry
you, how
it.
would you feel if she ended up carrying? Would you feel some type
Well,
of
she's
way?
always wanted to carry, so like.
Yeah. Like, I've always wanted to adopt. Even when I was married previously, we had always talked like we were going to adopt. But I always wanted to have one experience of carrying a
Right.
child. So, and I was involved in all of my sister's pregnancies. She has 3 children.
Okay.
They're amazing. And the very first one and experiencing that was the most powerful
Mm-hmm.
thing for me. So I always wanted to have that experience.
It's
for
gonna
myself.
happen.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yes. And let me see, because we getting close. I wanted to touch base a little bit on your song "Teach Me How to Pray,"
Mm-hmm.
and I would say we kind of touched base on the topic when we were talking about how you feel, you know, knowing that this is how you want it. You feel like you should have been,
Mhm.
you know, a guy. But I did want to touch base on the religion side of it. So my question is, in "Teach Me How to Pray," don't quote. I'm not going to quote the line, but you had a line that you said, "Teach me how to pray." You had a line that said, "Tell me if loving who I love is a problem."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel at this point that you're like a disappointment to God, or that He loves you any less because you love who you love?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't feel that way. That particular line just comes from like what we've been taught. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so to me, when I think of, I'm not religious by any means. I'm very spiritual. My mom has always been like very open-minded. She studied every religion.
Mhm.
She wanted us to like have our own thoughts and beliefs when it comes to certain things. To me, I think just from what I've experienced and the shit that I've seen with different religions and how it affects people, it's all a contradiction.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all of them, with whatever Bible you read, it's all perception,
Right.
you know, on what you take from that
That
particular
particular-
scripture. But at the end of the day, all of that shit is man-made. So until Jesus, God, whoever comes down and tells me this is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what to believe when it comes to that. But I know what society believes.
Mm-hmm.
So with that particular song, it's just me talking to him. You know, like if I was to pray, I never was really taught how to pray.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's always like, oh, don't say God's name in vain, or oh, you can't curse when you talk to God, or oh, you gotta go to church to pray. Like all this shit, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you. You tell me what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me if who I love is deceitful. You tell
Right.
me.
Yeah,
If,
that's the line. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's all it was. Like, this is me having a conversation with you,
Right.
and I'm having a conversation with you how I feel like I can have a conversation with you. Because to me, it's like you created me. So you created every fucking word, every language,
Right.
cuss words included.
Right.
If I sit here and I say fuck when I'm talking to you, you know the feeling that
That you
is
feel,
behind
and
that.
that's why
you know
you
what I'm saying?
right,
So
right.
I just don't agree with certain things.
So what's your definition? Because I know I hear a lot of people saying that they're spiritual, they're not religious.
Mm-hmm.
What's your definition of being spiritual versus religious?
Well, I feel connected to energy. I feel connected to the earth, and I definitely believe that there's a higher power. Like, I feel like something created us. You know, like, your subconscious mind is God, really. Like, you talking to yourself is your God. So I know when I ask for certain things, whether it comes the way I want it to or not, he always shows me that he's there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the, you know, and I asked that because I have I've been battling a lot. I've been meeting a lot of people lately that feels that they're more spiritual than religious.
But that's because there's so much contradiction.
Yes,
People are so hypocritical. You preaching this message, you're not living it.
Right.
At all.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be focused on love, and that's it.
One thing remains the same in every religion is God is love.
Right.
And they always say, like, he reads our hearts. So, and we were made in his image. So it's crazy to me. I always talk to people who are like very religious and they're like all modest and everything. I was like, God made us naked.
Right.
If he intended us to have clothes, we would have had clothes.
Right.
You know, and if you go by the Bible, it was the fall of man that they were embarrassed and they covered themselves. You know, so
You know, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's just for me, growing up religious and growing up, you know, with the Bible in the house and studying in the house and stuff like that. It was hard for me to kind of let go of that, really like kind of brainwashing of that religion and thinking for myself, not what somebody else is telling them, but really like feeling it for myself, because it's not somebody at the stage telling you. It really is a personal feeling that you have when you're connected to, you know, if you want to say the universe or the creator. It's all the same thing, you know. So it's whatever it is for you, and that's how I feel about different religions.
Yeah, I don't.
Some of the storyline remains the same, but there's little details that are different,
Yeah.
and that's what we're fighting over. Is those little details.
Yeah,
But
none of that matters.
like, who can say that they lived back in those times and they can tell me literally that this is the truth? You know, so
Somebody once told me, God gave us free will. Why would he punish us for using it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's how I live my life.
Well,
like,
yeah.
God doesn't hate me for what I do or who
or
I
why
am.
would
And
he
Jesus
put us
died
on
for
this
our
earth
sins.
not to live it?
Live it.
Right.
You know,
That's what
because-
we're brought to do.
Because
Yeah.
you know, I talk to Iaellan all the time. You know, coming out of that religion was really hard. You're stuck in a bubble.
Yeah.
That is
you said
literally-
you said Jehovah Witness?
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
That is
Mhm.
literally all you know. Like, you don't hang out with anybody from school. You're not allowed to. You know, so your little bubble is the witnesses.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when I left, I lost all of that. I lost all of my childhood friends. I lost my dad's side of the family. You know, they don't speak to
Wow.
my family
See,
anymore.
that's the hard part.
Yeah. And in that religion, like, there's this thing called disfellowshipping, and both my brother and my mom got disfellowshipped. And when they get disfellowshipped, if you're still a witness, you don't talk to them.
Oh wow.
And that was always very hard for me. My brother got disfellowshipped first, and
That's
for my mom, it was like, you can't tell me
That I
not
can't talk
to
to my
go.
mom.
Like, if my son needs me,
Yeah.
like I
It's
carried
more
him for
of-
9 months.
It's
in my
more of a
stomach.
cult versus than a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I hear a lot of people.
And it's crazy because they say that, like, when you're going to the meetings, like, oh, they're gonna call us a cult, but, you know, we're not, because we don't do X, Y, and Z. But really, it's a lot of brainwashing.
It
So it took me a
is.
long time. Even still to this day, I'll get like triggered by certain things because they use certain like verbiage,
Right.
and I'm like, don't say that. Like, don't say,
Right.
because you know, my sister's fiance, he grew up as a witness as well, and they don't go anymore. My whole family doesn't go anymore, and we'll be talking on certain subjects, and I just honestly can't go there because
Right.
it's so, you know, even when I was growing up, I always questioned it. I was like the black sheep, and when I finally got out of it and I started really like feeling a connection to my spirit and my spirituality. I was like, I never felt this
like that.
before. And I was
it's so much
supposed
peaceful.
to be like, they call it the truth. You're in the truth, you know? And I never felt that way. I never felt a connection to God at all. And so when I got out of it and I really started focusing on like being a positive person and doing good, and just like Iaellan said, like I would drive in my car in silence, just like having conversations with myself, but I'm like, I'm having conversations with God, you know, and manifestation and stuff like that. And I kid you not, there were certain things that I like specifically said and they happened. And that's what I'm like, when you ask for a sign, those come to you.
Right.
So, you know, I still have people that come to my massage and locations that knew me when I was a witness, and they're still witnesses, and they'll be like, you need to come back, and all this stuff. And I tell them straight up, like, I feel closer to God now that I'm out of that religion than I ever did in all the, because I was in it until I was 21 years old.
Wow.
So.
Wow, that's deep. But we're gonna have to come back and talk more about that. But second to last question. I did, when you came in the first time, I did a lot of, like, you know, you're teaching me how to pray. I had that on the episode, and then your freestyle in the middle. How has your music career been since your appearance on the show?
Well, I've done a few things. I got some things in the works. I'm not gonna say too much, just because I want to wait to know what's actually going on. But you know, I had a little bit of a writer's block after my surgery last year, so it took me a while to really get back into it. But when I came back, I was just trying to really focus on work and my health, and so like anytime I would sit down to write, I was just either I wouldn't have time or I would just be like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
So I'm starting to get back into it, finding some inspiration. I've been doing a lot more writing lately. It's definitely something that writing has always helped me, and I think I got away from. I got so caught up in, all right, I want to make this song, that it was like, I'm not writing just to write. You know? And that's when I get the best music, is when I'm just writing, expressing my emotions. The rhyming just comes naturally, you know, but when I'm just like writing stuff down on paper, whatever comes to my mind, that's when I get the best results. So it's coming together slowly.
Do you have a talent?
I am just like pretty creative, so anything artistic. I also love to write. I've written a rap before. I love them. She thought it was hilarious. That's not my thing, but no, I'm definitely like, I love to paint. I love to draw.
When you see the pictures of the wedding, you'll see like she's super creative. Now, I mean, just knowing that you made
she's
I was like, wow.
Yeah, we had, we just took it down because we were getting ready for, we were growing up, we were getting ready for a nursery, so, we had a whole black light room in our house.
Really?
And I called it the imagination station, so that was like where all my craft stuff was.
All the paintings that we did, they were all
so
walls.
Iaellan and I would go in there and just like paint together. And so all of the paintings that we ever painted together was up on the wall. And the walls were covered in just like blacklight paintings, like really cool funky paintings. But we had done a chalkboard together the first time. She's really good at like lettering and stuff like that. And she wrote our names, and then I just drew some stuff on the side, and it's still like one of my favorite pieces that we did together.
Oh, that's so
Y'all are just everything.
I know. And for my last question, what are some advice you would give other like lesbian couples, or just people that just want to be who they want to be in a relationship, but they're afraid? Obviously, via your stories, you overcame and people had to kind of like not suffer, but you know, people also was affected by the choices that you made to love each other. So what are some of the advice that you would give to other people that wanted to make that step, but they're worrying about other things and not really themselves?
I think that people need to stop being afraid to get help. Like, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you weak to get help. I think talking to somebody outside of the family, outside of people that you're close with, it helps a lot. Even if it's somebody that you're close with, just talk. Because getting other people's views helps you to kind of come to grips with certain things, you know, and finding yourself is very hard. So like as an individual, like coming to terms with what you feel, depression always comes with it. So whatever it is you feel you need to do to cope with that, but I think getting help is very effective because there's a lot of it, you know, and I think like writing helped me. Writing really helped me, putting it all on paper. Helped me make decisions like this shit sounds stupid. Now that I'm looking at it on paper, like this shit sounds stupid. Like just get it out. And the way that I came out to my siblings was I wrote them all an individual letter because I didn't want to I didn't have the strength to verbalize it. So it was like, all right, I'm gonna write a letter. I got a different relationship with everybody. I'll write a letter. And they all took it differently, you know, but it was out there.
Right.
And it may not be the best way for some people, but that's what worked for me.
Right.
You know? So just be you.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just be you.
Like she said, you know, I feel like don't be afraid to be yourself.
Right.
You know, there's so many people out there that feel like they have to put on this like facade, you know, social media and stuff like that. That's why I talked to you earlier. Like I'm not big into social media. I had deleted it for a long time, and I have people that are family that are far away, and that was the only reason like I want to see your kids grow up. You know, I don't get to experience that, but I rarely post stuff on Facebook. You know, even about our relationship, because it just, like I said, you know, it's sad. And that was the hardest part for me to come to terms with when it didn't work out for us getting pregnant. Because it's sad that there's people out there that are looking at your life on Facebook and hating on it. Like, putting that negative energy out there.
Straight up.
Like, they think, you know, not to sound like this, but they think what we have is so perfect that instead of, like, feeding off of that, like
feeling the good energy they want.
They want to hate on it because they don't have it.
And we don't even share much. Like,
Y'all don't.
No.
Y'all don't.
And that's
why we're
why.
successful.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel
It's not like
that's
I'm not gonna
confirmation.
tell you I love you on Facebook because that ain't for you.
Right.
It's for everybody to see that I'm saying I love you and writing all this stuff to you. To me, that's intimate.
Right.
And when did that become everybody else's business?
And then y'all love each other one day and y'all broke up the next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of like fakeness out there. So
fake relationships.
really just be yourself.
Be yourself.
You know, and when it comes to like being scared of family, I think it's hard for people. I'm very close with my family. We've had our ups and downs, but there's some times where for a little while maybe you just need to love from a distance.
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
you know, toxic people are toxic people, and if you have a toxic family member, maybe you need to love them from a distance for a little bit of time. The people that truly love you for you are always going to be there.
Right. That's true. Good advice,
Can I have
guys.
a question?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
What are your last names?
Walter.
Okay, so for 2019, what have the Walters want to manifest for 2019? What do you want? What's next?
I think we're definitely focused on starting a family. Like we really want this year to be the year,
Okay.
you know, to start a family. But there's a lot of things, you know, just with our careers and stuff like that, that things are changing.
Yeah,
so,
we want to make some changes for sure.
you know, I want to get it more involved. Like I redo furniture and stuff like that. So just getting involved in
Stuff
more
that she
creative stuff.
enjoys.
Right.
You know, like I love what I do, but the people that I have to deal with on a daily basis, it really, and that's how I was telling her earlier, like I hate feeling like I'm starting to not like my job.
Right.
And you know, I have clients that they really make me appreciate it, so that's what keeps me going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Like I know I'm capable of so much more. You know?
Right.
So I always feel like I need to strive for more.
Right.
Y'all should open up your own spa. Like you have the
Yeah,
background, you have.
That's the
We
plan.
talked about
That's
that.
the
Jay, you be on it.
Yeah.
It's the
And
spirit.
honestly, I got into massage envy because I always like, you know, I loved makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I did, you know, nails, makeup. I always wanted to go to cosmetology school. And I started Massage envy at 21, and I just loved it so much. Like, I love the holistic side of it. I'm super into like essential oils and, like I said, energy and stuff like that. So I really love that, and I've been stuck there for the past 11 years. So
I see that happening for y'all. Seriously,
Thank you.
it's going to happen. It's going to be
Yeah.
very successful.
Mm-hmm.
It'll
you.
get there.
And the
one day.
baby. I can't wait. You guys want a boy or girl? Or it don't matter?
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter to me. She really wanted a boy at first,
I can imagine.
and I don't know. I think
Twins.
my nieces and nephews are like everything to the both of us. But my oldest niece is like her baby.
Really?
And she like I was talking her into bed on New Year's Eve actually, and she's like, "Okay, but I need to speak with Dewey." That's what she was. I need to speak with Dewey for a second. I'm like, "Okay, I'll go and get her for you."
Okay.
So
That's my baby.
you know, one day she's like, "You know, I really wanted a boy, but I think I want a girl.
Aww.
Yep.
I think I want a girl." But neither of us really care.
Here.
I just wanted my boy to be older because I want my
Your boy and
little
your
girl, you know.
yeah.
But I could care less, honestly.
Yeah.
Little boys are a handful though.
Yeah, my little nephew's
Yeah, they are.
but
They are.
he's like the sweetest, but he's a handful. Yeah.
Do you guys have like a favorite lesbian couple? Like celebrity couple?
Nah, I just love Alicia Keys.
Yeah, we both love Alicia. And she's
Alicia Keys can get it.
yeah, oh yeah, and she's bisexual too. So
Oh, she is?
Oh yeah, she is.
yeah.
Oh. Well, do she practice that in her marriage, or it's just
Who knows?
that
I don't
stage,
know,
like,
but
they
she
don't
has
have
a whole song on her newest album about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
her
I
and
didn't even pay attention to that.
Swiss got that. He good.
Mm-hmm.
But don't slip.
Right. Y'all are messed up, guys. This is not
Oh, you
my-
ain't asked me for no music this time?
Oh, you want? Oh, you ready? She got something, y'all. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You
the
put
beat on.
yourself.
I'm putting
Right.
the beat on. I'm putting the beat
Okay,
on.
she put a beat on this
Yeah,
time.
but
Come on.
I can't do the acapella thing.
It was good.
It was alright.
It was good. But then, you know, at the end, I had added the
It was okay.
Didn't it feel different though with the music?
Yeah, it did.
to
It did. It did feel different with the music. It did feel different.
We'll see. I haven't done this one in a long time. We'll see.
Okay.
See how it goes.
Add.
Right.
I gotta fucking remember the words. Where's the track? Right here.
Right at the corner. Okay, you got it?
Oh yeah, that beat. Street. Let the beat come in now.
You turn up a little more? Oh, you good?
It's that heat. Heavy hearts, some of us bound by pain, depending on perception, love and war, one and the same. Everybody right, but what you say is wrong to me. Opinionated facts will never do no harm to me. I've been drugged through it, people throwing dirt on my name. It ain't nothing to just pass the niggas blocking my lane. See, I'm burning all this gas with the ones who remain, and I ain't never hugged the block. I don't need a gang, please. Y'all gotta stop with all this weak ass shit. Keep my focus on the mission I don't need help with.
I ain't with this fake love, see the hate show through. That's why I only fuck with mine, I don't fuck with you. Paper only come with time, I don't need all that. Ain't no hours never paid enough, can't live off that. Don't work for another man, I wanna build my own. Assert myself and grind, that's why my presence always known. Shorty rock me, it never change. Always getting the realest, please respect my fucking name. You gon' steady feel the spit, the film from my pen. Never been the loser, I was born to fucking win. Told you this before, and I'll gladly say it again. Can't give me direction since a place you never been. Get it on my own since the day I started out. You ain't moving with me, then you know you gotta bounce, nigga, rock with me. Educate you on some real life moves. Think you better see you, I ain't got nothing to prove. I just move different, I ain't talking work, my view's different. Everything I do, my energy, my hue's different. Why I had to take it back from some and stay distant. Niggas holding on to shit that really just isn't. Think about it, communication, non-existent. People think they see it all, but really got no vision. People think they know what's right, but they can't see reflections. To face yourself, cause you steady teaching fake lessons. If you ain't living it, got no respect for what you speak. Your knowledge ain't a blessing, you don't practice what you preach. The universe provides everything you truly seek. Open your mind, put your hand out, it's at your reach. Gotta pray to the Most High, that's my belief. And I will always be the same, that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Girl.
Thanks for spitting that.
Oh my
tea.
goodness.
Yes, Iaellan. I cannot wait to see what's next for you.
Oh my Lord.
Like, I'm ready. So I want to thank you guys for sitting with me and opening up. I mean, we talked about so much, and I appreciate you guys being so transparent and just open with your relationship and things that you guys go through. So, guys, for everyone that's been listening, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to the Traveling Pants of a Single Mom. Good night. Peace.